And we're live with another episode of Talking Sports tonight with a special guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Robbie Culliton.
And let's get right into what we're talking about today. Robbie, why don't you tell everybody your SEC standings?
Okay, so I'm going to start off with the West. Um, I've got LSU number one. And the reason why I've got LSU number one is Brian Kelly and Jaden Daniels. The way that LSU finished their season last year, LSU is primed to do something special if they can beat Florida State week one. Number two, I got the Lane train, Lane Kiffin. Um, so over there, it's a good another quarterback situation. You got Spencer Sanders, who's most likely going to be a backup, and the quarterback for Ole Miss that was last year. Ole Miss has a great team this year coming in. Number three, I've got Alabama. And I know there's going to be
Timeout.
arguments.
Can I chime in for a second?
Yes.
Okay, I see you have Ole Miss too. You failed to mention that their QB room is stacked.
Their Ole Miss QB room is stacked.
And it's not just Spencer Sanders. There's Jackson Dart. There's
right. It's so stacked. If one person
and they just had a kid that was a quarterback decommit. On top of that,
right. Number three, yes, they're here. And I know I'm going to get arguments on why they're not number one. The reason why Alabama is not number one is this is probably the worst QBs that Saban has had since he has been at Alabama. I do think this is going to be an inexperienced class. I think that Milroe probably will start the season as their quarterback. But you play Texas week 2, and Quinn Ewers, the Texas quarterback, is much better. Alabama is most likely going to be going into SEC play with a loss already on their schedule. Number 4, I've got Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M. Every year, people talk about Jimbo. Jimbo is such a good recruiter. My problem with Jimbo on why he is not higher on this list is he has not proven himself at Texas A&M. He proved himself at Florida State. He has not proven himself at Texas A&M. Number 5, I've got Arkansas. Now, yes, people are probably saying that Arkansas should be a little bit lower. But the reason why I have Arkansas at 5 is KJ Jefferson. KJ Jefferson's mobility is what's going to keep Arkansas as a probable bowl eligible team in for Arkansas. Number 6, welcome back Auburn. Auburn's a little bit, I don't know what's going to happen with Auburn. They have a new head coach. Their offense could be competitive. I don't know. Alec, did they sign any transfer quarterback on good transfers this year, Auburn?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. So, if they would have signed a couple more good transfers, I think Auburn could be a little bit higher. Number 7, unfortunately, Mississippi State. And we all know the sad story of Mike Leach, don't we, Alec?
Yes, unfortunately we do.
I think Mississippi State, though, should have spent more time looking for a new coach. I don't think the person that they brought in is going to be the right fit. And I think that they are much better named out there that they could have gone after.
I, I
Now to
I would agree with you on Mississippi State being number 7. They should have gone out and tried to steal Brian Hartline from Ohio State, but they had no idea that this whole Mike Leach thing was going to happen.
now to the SEC East. If you don't know me already, I am a beloved Tennessee Volunteers fan. Here is my reasoning for why they are number 1. Tennessee's Josh Heupel had an incredible year last year. And now they bring in a new quarterback. But
well, you need to mention who they lost that became a head coach.
They lost Hendon Hooker. They lost Jalen Hyatt. But I still have Tennessee winning the East.
There's one big one you're forgetting. He's a head coach now.
Alec Goolish. Am I right, Alec?
Yes, you are.
The reason why I still have Tennessee as number 1 is I think Joe Milton is going to prove himself. I've seen Heisman reports where he is on that list. Tennessee has some of the best receivers coming back, named Dante Thornton, that they got out of a transfer from Oregon. They have this speedy receiver named Squirrel White. And prove myself, Tennessee also is returning 10 out of their 12 defensive starters. So almost their whole defense is going to be seniors next year. So that is why Tennessee is number 1. I think Josh Heupel is proven. Number 2, I've got Georgia. Okay, people, I understand that everyone's going to say Georgia should be number 1. But is the Georgia quarterback proven? How early can he prove himself? That is to be determined. Number 3, I've got South Carolina. And the reason why I've got South Carolina as number 3 is
Beamer ball.
Beamer ball. And did you see who South Carolina upset at the end of the year last year? Not just did they knock Tennessee out of the college football playoff, they also knocked Clemson out. And Beamer ball has their quarterback, Spencer Rattler, coming back. I'm saying it now. I think South Carolina has a potential to go to a New Year's Six bowl game. Number 4, I've got Kentucky. The reason why I've got Kentucky at 4 is their transfer quarterback that they got, Devin Levy from North Carolina State. I think Devin Levy is actually better than Will Levis. Number 5, I've got Missouri. Okay, people. Yes, I know. Missouri played in so many close games last year. They lost by so many close games. I think they're going to win some of those close games. Number 6. Yes, I know. I'm pretty sure Alec's gonna have this team a little bit higher on his list. Number 6.
Thank you for the teaser.
I've got Florida. I understand why people would have Florida higher. But the reason why I've got Florida as 6 is their quarterbacks are not proven. Not proven quarterbacks. Number 7 in the final team. This team just needs to completely rebuild because that's who they are. Is Vanderbilt. Doesn't Vanderbilt tire you out sometimes when you're watching them, Alec?
Shoot. Hold up. What were you saying?
I said, doesn't Vanderbilt tire you out sometimes when you're watching them?
Vanderbilt fans, I'm sorry. My cousin went to Vanderbilt, but y'all just are not a football school.
No, they're not. Until I see drastic improvements, I'm not going to move Vanderbilt higher on this list.
I do like their coach. I do like their coach. I'll say that.
Okay. All right, Alec, I want to see your rankings.
Well, you're not done yet. You have to tell people you're...
Okay. There is a reason why I have this SEC championship game. Who remembers when Tennessee went into Baton Rouge last year and destroyed them by 28 points? I don't think it's going to happen as much this year, but I still think Tennessee is the better team. So I'm going to go Tennessee 34, LSU 21.
You got one more slide left. Tell us your college football playoff top 12.
Okay. Number 1, Georgia Bulldogs. Number 2, Alex Ohio State Buckeyes. Number 3, Texas. Number 4, USC. Hey, Alec, you realize Michigan's not in the top 4?
Yeah. I have a friend that's a huge Michigan fan, and he's probably going to see this after and say, why does your friend and you not have them in the top 4?
I'm about to give you reasonings for everyone on this list once I'm done with them. Number 5, Clemson. Number 6, Penn State. Number 7, LSU. Number 8, Tennessee. Number 9, Oklahoma. Number 10, Michigan. Number 11, Florida State. Number 12, Notre Dame. Okay, number 1, Georgia. I think Georgia's going to go undefeated. I'm saying it now. I think Ohio State and Georgia are going to go undefeated. Texas. The reason why I have Texas here is I think they are going to upset the Tide, which are not on this list, by the way. I think Texas upsets the Tide week 2, and I think Texas goes steamrolling from there. I think they may lose one game later on in the season, but I think that they're... Number 4, Pac-12, USC. Alec, remember me again, who was the Heisman Trophy winner last year? Caleb Williams.
I don't want to talk about that.
Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley together. Yes, they're number 4. Number 5, I got Clemson. I think Clemson won in the AACC this year because they have no competition yet. Number 6, Penn State. The reason why I got Penn State here and not Michigan is I think Penn State beats Michigan in late October. Number 7, LSU. I think LSU goes undefeated until the SEC championship game. I think LSU's first loss is to the next team, Tennessee. The reason why I have Tennessee as 8 is they've got such a difficult schedule this year. They got Georgia. They got Alabama. I'm not saying that they're going to lose. I think they're going to beat Georgia because I said that Georgia doesn't win the SEC East. But I think they could potentially lose to a South Carolina, or they could potentially lose to a Florida. So, yes, I've got Tennessee lower on this list. Number 9, I got Oklahoma. Come on, people. Dylan Gabriel and Oklahoma, they've got to be in the top 12. Number 10, Michigan. Congratulations, Coach Harbaugh. You've done a great job at Michigan the last couple of years. I think you are going to be in the top 12. I think you'll be running. Number 11, Florida State. Florida State is the second ACC school. I think they're the only school that's going to compete with Clemson. And number 12, the only independent school, Notre Dame.
I'm going to say this right now. If Harbaugh doesn't beat Ohio State this year, I think he gets fired.
Or asked to go to the NFL.
I think it's more likely he leaves for the NFL.
Okay. So we can talk in a couple weeks about a good replacement for Harbaugh. But
yes,
I'm sorry, people. I think Michigan may lose to Penn State. I think Penn State.
They may lose. There's one more team you're forgetting. They're number 2.
Ohio State. I think Michigan loses 2 games this year. I think Michigan loses 2, possibly 3. I think Michigan State sneaks up on Michigan. I think Sparty could actually get it done this year.
Okay, so you wanted to see my rankings for the SEC? Okay, here's my standings for the SEC. I'm going to start like Robbie did with the West. I'm going to go. So number 7, I've got Auburn. And the reason I have Auburn at number 7 is because I don't think they're going to compete in the SEC this year.
Do I see this right that you have Tennessee as number 1 and South Carolina as number 2?
I'll get to my explanation as to why in a minute. But back to the SEC West. So, like I said, the reason I have Auburn here is 1, new head coach. You don't know what you're going to get with their new head coach. And I looked at their depth chart. Their QB position's undecided. They don't know who their starter is going to be. At number 6, I have Arkansas. I like KJ Jefferson. I think if he has a good season, he could be a first-round pick in the draft next year. And he could maybe win the Heisman, but that's another video for another day. At number 5 in the SEC West, I have Mississippi State. And like Robbie said earlier, it's unfortunate what happened to Mike Leach. And I think they should have tried to look for a new head coach before the whole Mike Leach thing happened. But I don't really see them doing anything with the new head coach they had because that was kind of rushed. They didn't really have time to go out and interview other people. At number 4 in the SEC West, to many people's surprise, I have Alabama. And it's for the same reason Robbie said a few minutes ago. Unproven quarterback play.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. I think Jalen Milroe has potential. And what you didn't mention is they lost their offensive coordinator.
Jalen Milroe is more of an option type offense, and he likes to run the ball better. I think when you play teams that like to run the ball, you're going to be in trouble. When you play defenses.
I would agree with you. And then you've got Ty Simpson, I think he's a freshman.
Who was the Notre Dame transfer quarterback that they got?
Buckner, but what I heard is the only reason he's going there is after he's done playing, he wants to become a coach. So I don't know how much playing time he's actually going to get.
Okay.
Because you got
by the way, you watching the Derby right now? Your boy Rosarena's hitting.
No, I'm not. But I don't think Miller is going to win the job. I think it's going to be Simpson because I watched a little bit of the spring game.
So you think it's going to be the freshman, and they're going to let the freshman grow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At number three,
I could see that happen.
number three in the SEC West, I have the Lane Train. Robbie? At number three in the SEC West, I have Ole Miss. And as we said earlier, as Robbie said earlier, their QB room is stacked. Not only do you have Jackson Dart, you have Jackson Dart, Will Howard, and who was the third guy?
Spencer Sanders.
Spencer Sanders. And then they would have had a fourth, but the kid decommitted, and I think he's probably going to end up going. He's going to end up going somewhere else. I think if anybody can give LSU a run for their money, it's either Ole Miss or the team I have at number two, which is Texas A&M.
So here's my thing about Texas A&M: is Jimbo Fisher has proven himself at Florida State, but he needs to prove himself at Texas A&M. Maybe this is his shot.
He had the best recruiting class that Texas A&M's ever had.
I know.
But then the problem with that is he had a bunch of kids go in the portal and leave. But I do see Texas A&M being very competitive in the SEC West this year. But they won't win it. That's where Mr. Kelly and LSU come in at number one. I think they win the SEC West handedly.
Yeah, it's going to be handed to them. They've got the. I think, and I didn't make this point. I didn't make this point when I said LSU, but I think Jalen Daniels has a chance to give Caleb Williams a run for his money with Heisman Trophy race.
I would agree. Okay, SEC East at number 7. To much people's surprise, I have Kentucky.
Ooh, okay.
And the reason I have Kentucky there is because I don't trust the QB that they have. Devin Leary, I think is his name, from NC State. Obviously, the reason he left NC State is because he knew he wasn't going to start there. So, I can see Kentucky still winning a lot of games.
So, Devin Leary was a 3-year starter at North Carolina State. He's going to be a grad transfer for Kentucky.
Yes. But I looked and I have a couple of freshmen, and I watched bits and parts of their spring game. They have a couple other QBs that look really good. So I think the reason Kentucky's here is because I think they have a short leash on Leary. If he struggles, I think they bench him
fast. Yeah, they can move on from him fast.
Yeah, without having any blowbacks from the fan base. Like they would have when Will Levis was there if Will Levis struggled. At number 6, I have Vanderbilt.
Sorry, Vandy fans.
Sorry, Vanderbilt fans. And my cousin Riley Bitterly. Sorry. But y'all the only sport y'all are good in is baseball. That is the only sport y'all are good at. And somewhat basketball, but not by a lot. At number 5 in the SEC East, I have Missouri. And I'm gonna detail why. I think they're gonna have a good season. And this is a make or break season for their coach, Eli Drinkowitz, because I read a little article from a credible college football reporter that said that if Missouri doesn't win more than 8 games this year, that Eli Jankowicz could get the boot from Missouri, even though he just got an extension. And so, Missouri fans, I'm sorry for not putting them in front of the next team I'm going to talk about, which is Florida. I have Florida at number 4, and there's one big reason. It's not Graham Mertz. It's a former QB from Ohio State that was stuck behind C.J. Stroud and Kyle McCord. It is Jack Miller. I think he's going to win the starting job at Florida. And people are saying he could be the next. He could be the next Joe Burrow. At number 3.
At number 3.
Number 3. Hold up. I'm having issues with At number 3 in the SEC, I have Georgia.
Oh, okay.
The reason why I have Georgia at number 3 is because of their QB.
Improvement QB.
Mm-hmm. Carson Beck looks like he could be good. I've seen videos on social media of him throwing, but that's why Georgia's at number 3. Number 2 is South Carolina, and it's not only because of Spencer Rattler.
Beamer roll.
Correct. Beamer ball. Shane Beamer, the most entertaining coach in college football.
And not to mention, his dad was a head coach.
Legendary coach at Virginia Tech. Frank Beamer.
Yep.
I don't need to go into explanation about that because I'm still hurt. They upset Ohio State.
Yep.
And at number 1.
Woo! Go rock the top, you'll always be.
As you can see, my co-host over here is happy. I have Tennessee at number 1. It's not only because of Joe Milton, it is because of their head coach, Josh Heupel. And now I'm going to show you. Here is my top 12 rankings. And I will explain after I go 12-1. So number 12, I have Notre Dame. Number 11, Oregon State. Number 10, Florida State. Number 9, Penn State. Number 8, Texas. Number 7, Michigan. Number 6, Clemson. 5, A&M. 4, Cincinnati. 3, Tennessee.
Do you think Cincinnati wins the Big 12?
Maybe. Okay. Number 3, Tennessee. 2, Ohio State. 1, Georgia. Let's start with number 12, Notre Dame. I like Marcus Freeman, and I like the recruiting he's doing. He's stolen some recruits from Ohio State, which gets on my nerves. But at the same time, I understand why he's doing it. Is he's trying to build a culture at Notre Dame. And unfortunately, I think Ohio State's only loss is going to be to Notre Dame. I don't think Ohio State loses more than one game. Number 11, and I see the look on your face, Robbie. You're surprised.
Do you have them winning the Pac-12?
No.
Okay. Is it because of DJ Uncle?
No, it's not. It's actually because of their coach. That is why I have Oregon State at number 11. Number 10, Florida State. I could have put them higher, but I put them here because I don't know. I feel like they could win the ACC, but I also feel like they could finish second to Clemson. Number 9, Penn State. Honestly, I have Penn State here because Franklin's a good head coach, but they have an unproven QB. Number 8, Texas. Quinn Ewers is a real deal.
And you're going to see that. And you're going to see that week 2 when Texas plays Alabama.
Yes. I'm still mad at him for leaving Ohio State, but he did it in the right way compared to what Jamison Williams did. And I'll leave it at that. Number 7. Ugh.
You hate mentioning the team up.
Yes.
All you have to say is the team up north.
I can't say that, unfortunately. Number 7, I have Michigan. And yes, it is because of Harbaugh. And it is because of their QB, J.J. McCarthy. I'll give him credit. He's beaten us twice in the last 2 years.
I'm going to say this. The only reason Michigan may make this top 12 is because of their running backs, Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum. They have beat up Ohio State the last 2 years, and I don't see it happening this year, but that's the reason why Michigan is so good as their running backs.
That's what I was just about to say, was because of their running backs. But I don't think it happens this year. I think Ohio State is sick and tired of them running the ball, and they're actually going to step up.
Goes into Ann Arbor and gets the victory.
Yes. Number 6, Clemson. And I have them here because they have an unproven quarterback as well. Cade Klubnik. Number 5, I have Florida State. Texas. At number 5, I have Texas A&M.
Jimbo Bishop.
Yep, Jimbo needs to prove himself. And I think he will.
Tennessee plays Texas A&M right after A&M plays Alabama. Tennessee A&M is going to be a good game this year. That's going to be a prove-it game for Jimbo.
Yes, it is. At number 4, I have Cincinnati. The Bearcats. And I see them doing really good in the Big 12. And number 3, I have Tennessee. And it's because of Joe Milton and Josh Heupel. Number 2, I have Ohio State. I could have put them over Georgia, but they also have the same problem Georgia has. Unproven, somewhat unproven quarterback. McCord has played a few games, but he hasn't started the full season. What's your question?
Is we both have Georgia at number 1, but we don't have Georgia winning the East. And the reason why that is because we both think that Tennessee will choke in one game that they should not lose.
Correct.
Yep.
And here's my SEC championship game. I have Tennessee beating LSU 45-40. and we can continue. Who do you think a good? Let's give 3 replacements for Harbaugh if he does leave Michigan.
Okay. So I'm gonna start.
You go first.
I'm gonna start off by saying one. I'm gonna start off by saying a Michigan man. I'm gonna say Les Miles.
Okay, so you 3-1. You get 2 more.
I think Bob Stoops is gonna be in the mix.
I like that, but at the same time,
he could beat Ohio State.
No, I don't see that, and the issue is I don't see him coming out of retirement.
Number one, I'm going to say Gus Malzahn, because I think he wants to leave UCF for a bigger program if he gets offered.
Okay, I'll give you my 3. Here's my 3 candidates for the Michigan head coaching job if Jim Harbaugh leaves. Number 3, I think you're onto something with Gus Malzahn. He wants to leave UCF for a bigger job if he gets offered it. And I think if they give him the right amount of money, he'll take the job. Number 2, I've got Brian Hartline from Ohio. No. I was going to say Brian Hartline, but I don't think he would do it.
I don't think he would go to their rivals. The reason why I think that Les Miles would do it is because Les Miles actually coached and I believe played at Michigan one time.
Number 2, I've got Butch Jones.
That's a good name.
Or Butch Jones or Tom Herman, who is at FAU right now.
Yeah, that's a good game. Those are good names.
And then number 1, there's an outside chance he leaves where he is for a bigger job. And I'm going to say it's Deion Sanders.
Ooh, okay.
I think Deion leaves Colorado after a couple years.
For a bigger opportunity.
Because here's the thing, we don't know what the Pac-12 is going to look like in a couple years.
Right.
With conference expansion happening.
So I'm also going to say a wild card name, Rich Rodriguez. He used to coach at Michigan. I believe he's unemployed right now, but I think Michigan could potentially give him a chance back if they don't get the coach that they want.
You know what? That's a good one. I didn't even think of that.
And I believe when he coached at Michigan the first time, he never beat Ohio State, did he?
No, he didn't beat Ohio State. Oh, I'll give you another wild card. Brady Hoke.
Oh.
Give him a second chance at Michigan. He didn't beat Ohio State, but he came close 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
The problem I have with Harbaugh is he complains about everything. Like when they played Ohio State the 1 year and they thought they stopped Ohio State short on 4th down, That was
the play of the century. The play of the century.
yes.
Because I remember the next offensive play was the touchdown that beat Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And we can go, and you and your Michigan friends can go back and forth on that play call.
Yep. Okay, let's give conference championship game predictions for all the Power 5 in the American Athletic. You're muted.
ACC, can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay, start with the ACC.
So they don't have divisions anymore. So I'm going Florida State versus Clemson, which Clemson wins 34-21.
There's no divisions anymore in the ACC?
Nope. 34-21
Okay.
Clemson. Big 12. Oh, I can have a lot of fans that are going to this is going to be an upset for a lot of people, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to go Texas Longhorns versus the UCF Knights. And I have Texas blowing them out. All right, SEC, we already have our SECs in. Big Ten, are you ready?
I don't know if I am.
I'm going to go Ohio State.
Yes.
Versus Minnesota. Ohio State 37, Minnesota 31.
Okay.
American Athletic.
You forgot the Pac-12.
Okay, I'll do American first. American Athletic. I don't know why people are so high on this team, but I'm about to jump a bandwagon and be high on them as well. Your Tulsa? I don't even know their last name.
Golden Hurricane.
Golden Hurricanes. Have you heard people be really high on them lately?
No, it's actually the other way around. I've heard people be high on Tulane.
Versus the Tulane Green Wave. Green Wave 41, Tulsa 10. Please do not watch the American Athletic Conference Championship game. And now the Pac-12. The granddaddy of them all. USC versus Washington. USC 31, Washington 27.
Okay, I guess I'll go now.
Yes, go.
Okay, so ACC, I'm right up there with you. I got Clemson, Florida State, and I got Florida State winning 45.
Ooh. Okay.
American Athletic, I've got USF and FAU.
Oh, okay.
With USF winning 45-10. Ah, the Big Ten. That's how you obviously know one of the teams I have in it.
Oh, I obviously do. And that's the scary part is how difficult that division is going to be when you got Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State all on the same side.
Well, I think you're leaving a team out of it. No one's talking about Maryland.
Do you really have Maryland in the conference championship game?
No. I have Ohio State going to the conference championship game, but I have Maryland. I don't know if you saw that video. I have Maryland finishing in front of Penn State and Michigan.
Ooh! Is that because of Tua's brother?
Yep, and their coach. But I have Ohio State and Wisconsin playing in the Big Ten championship game, and Ohio State beating up on Luke Fickell. Ohio State winning 59-10.
Please don't watch the Big Ten championship game, everybody.
Sorry, Coach Fickell. You should have never left Ohio State. I'm gonna go with the MAC next, which you didn't do because I don't think you probably watched the MAC. But I've got Miami of Ohio. This is a shout out to my dad. He went to Miami of Ohio. I've got Miami of Ohio playing in the MAC championship game against Western Michigan. And I've got Miami of Ohio winning 35-14. So not a blowout. Then I got Pac-12. And this is where everybody's going to be surprised. Who I have in it. I have USC in it. And they're going to be playing Colorado. But I don't recommend watching it because it's going to be a doozy. I've got USC. Keyword, do not watch because you will be bored. You will want to change the channel after the first half.
There will be other good games on that weekend.
Yes, there will. I've got USC winning in a laugher 55-0.
Ooh!
And in the last conference championship game I'm going to tell you about, actually, I'm going to tell you about two more. One, the Sun Belt.
And you know what? I want to do one more prediction when we're done with this. Go ahead.
I've got Appalachian State beating Coastal Carolina 45-43. And then my last one I'm going to do is, and my last conference championship game prediction I'm going to give you is Mountain West. And it is Boise State beating Wyoming 45-40.
Okay. Now that you've given all your predictions, I want to know who's everyone's home run derby prediction today. I am rooting for Randy or Rosarena to do some cleanup business tonight.
I am too, because obviously.
But I am also thinking the hometown kid Julio Rodriguez could knock out Pete Alonso tonight.
I wouldn't mind that. Is there any other predictions you want to make?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
And later on in the season, we'll make an NFL. That's a whole other video. We'll go.
Yes.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for the next episode of Talking Sports with Alec and Robbie, which will be in probably another month. But thank y'all for tuning in and
have a
good night.